Hey guys, Mark Daniels Jr. here, coming to you from South Florida. I just finished up FLW Rayovac, my first tournament of 2015. I finished in 4th place. I made a huge jump on day 2 from 64th all the way to 3rd, and I had a really great week. And so I wanted to bring you guys in on kind of what I did this week, give you some insights and a recap of what I used and kind of how the week went for me. First and foremost, my primary technique for this week was flipping. I was flipping mats and I was fishing north in the Harney Pond area, Monkey Box area, and I was getting some really good bites all throughout practice all week doing that, and that was my go-to. And my bait of choice all week has been a Missiles bait, Missile Craw, in black and blue. They call it Bruiser Flash, but black and blue. And I was using that with a 2-ounce sinker, 4-aught Gamakatsu hook, and I'm fishing that on a 7'11" Kistler KLX flipping stick in heavy action. You want a little bit of tip when you're punching mats. You don't want an extremely stiff rod. Coupled that with 65-pound Seaguar Smackdown braid, and last but not least, a very high speed ratio reel. This one happens to be 8.5 to 1. When those big ones hitting those mats, you want to make 2 or 3 cranks on that handle, and you want that fish coming to you. You don't want them to give them a chance to get their head back in that mat. You want to get them right in the boat as fast as you can. So this was my #1 technique. I caught a lot of big fish all week through practice and in the tournament on this bait right here, on this setup, and it was really helpful for me this week. Another technique that I used when I wasn't punching mats and I was still in the areas where I felt the big fish were, and some of them were actually spawning, but you couldn't see them. And so I would fan cast a Cinco style bait around, and I would catch some of those big females. I caught 2 really big ones on day 2 on this Cinco style bait. And this is, I'm throwing this on a 1/4 ounce sinker. I got a 4-aught hook here, and this is 20-pound Seaguar Tatsu. I'm throwing this on a 7'6" Kistler helium rod. This is an extremely light rod. A lot of people would consider a 7'6" rod to be a flipping stick, but this rod right here is extremely lightweight, and I can just use it like an all-purpose type casting rod. And that's exactly what I did this week, and I used it for my Cinco setup, and I caught a few big ones and brought them in the boat. Lastly, on day 3, you know, the wind picked up really bad. Blew like 30 mile an hour all day. Obviously I couldn't punch mats the way I wanted to on day 3, and so I had to kind of scramble around and do some other things to put some fish in the boat. And what I did was I ultimately resulted in 2 fan casting a chatterbait in those areas. And this is a black and blue chatterbait. I got a black and blue swim bait on the back of this, and I've thrown this on 20-pound Tatsu Seaguar, and this is a 7'4" medium heavy action. I like a little bit of tip on my chatterbait rod. Medium heavy action Kistler Helium 3. Once again, extremely sensitive, super lightweight, and this rod loads up great when those fish smash that chatterbait and they come running at you. You don't overcompensate and set the hook too fast. You just kind of let that thing roll up, and you just lean right into them and you got them. Lastly, one of the most important things that helped me this week were my power poles. The wind blew really hard on day 3. It blew a little bit on day 2, and it blew a little bit on day 1. But I was able to get into these areas, and I would power pole down, and I could be really quiet, and I could make the exact flips that I wanted to make where I thought those big fish were hanging, and bring them to the boat. And I think without my power poles, I probably wouldn't have had even an opportunity to catch the type of fish that I caught this week. And so I really want to give them a special thanks this week. I think that was key for me in catching that 25, 15-pound bag on day 2. So until the next tournament, you guys take care. I'm Mark Daniels Jr. Please feel free to follow me on Facebook at Mark Daniels Jr., on Instagram at Mark Daniels Jr., and on Twitter at MDJ Fishing. I'll see you guys at the next tournament.